afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series once again for the second time today. Second video of the afternoon. Don't you feel excited? I'm excited. Brilliant. Now that's out the way, let's crack on with the game, because if I listen very carefully, I think I can hear them gating in. So let's not waste any more time. Heading over to the game zone. It's going to be Desert Joust, and away we go. So Average Joes for you guys and girls, because you've all been so very special. I don't know what it is about this map. I always seem to end up casting Average Joes on this map. I'm not sure I've actually done one that isn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Perhaps there's some fanboy out there who can tell me I'm full of it, but it seems that way to me. Anyway, looking at the players and their starting locations, up here in the red corner, going UEF, it's Highlander, and he's opening first land. 3 P-Gens being all very cryptic about where he's going after that. And his opponent down here also going UEF, so it's an all UEF mirror matchup in the blue corner. It's June, and he's opening first land. A couple of P-Gens also being cryptic about what he's going second. So it's going to be Highlander and June, and you could be forgiven for thinking we're comparing 80s movies, but we're not. It's Supreme Commander, and it's on Desert Joust, and if their names mean anything, you'd think June's going to perform better, because this does look a lot more like Arrakis than it does Glencoe. But anyway, that's not to say that that's the way this is going to go. Desert Joust, of course, can be a 4-player map, a 4-player free-for-all, or a 2v2. So a lot of the combat takes place in these two corners, the redundant starting positions, where there's 4 core mass points to grab, and there's also a nice hillock in the middle with some pretty juicy wrecks on the go, and it looks like June is going to make his way over there to try and grab some of that mass right from the outset. Highlander, by contrast, is going to sit way up here in his base and use that build power to expand. And we have got a Mech Marine and a Snoop very close to June's ACU, and he's going to spot it. He's got just enough range of vision to see those, grabs those, picks those up. Couple of early first blood kills to June. And we've also got a Snoop and a Mech Marine out here, which is going to bag a Snoop from Highlander. So definitely first kills going to June's corner. He's going to be very happy about that. And he's also going to be completely unhindered with this mass grab. Going to get both of these Salem Destroyer wrecks sitting in the middle of this mound. There's also a couple of, I don't know what they are. Odds on a postcard, guys, if you know what those 3 tank wrecks are. They look like could be, I don't know, striker wrecks. I don't know. Answers on a postcard, like I say. Very curious to know. I don't know my wrecks that well. But a Mech Marine and a Snoop coming forward for Highlander, skirting the edges of this southern, south, western kind of aperture, not wanting to get involved with the combat there. But we've also got an engineer out already for June. He's working on a factory looking to stamp his authority on the bottom corner. Meanwhile, Highlander has moved his ACU across to the right-hand side. Already got an engineer in place grabbing those mexes. It's going to do quite well, I think, in securing that. So it looks like it's going to be pretty even on layout. But of course, all of this mass has gone to June in the middle, and also June's got control of the middle. So he's going to be grabbing the mass from the early mexes. But uh-oh, we've got a striker and Mech Marine and a Snoop coming in from Highlander, and if they can get in and kill this engineer before it finishes this factory, that'd be great. They're focusing rather poorly, prioritizing the factory rather than the engineer, or I should say prioritizing, but he wasn't attacking the engineer. Now that that factory's online, that's something that anchors June to that bottom left-hand corner, something that they could have prevented had they killed that engineer off first. But it's not to be. Pouring Mech Marines off the counter, probably worth just going for strikers on it. Definitely worth sending a few units over there to make sure that that doesn't get finished off, having just said that it anchors in nicely, because actually Highlander's devoting a fair few units down here to the bottom left, and unless some reinforcements arrive from June, he's not going to be able to hold on to that. He is building a whole stream of T1 factories down here in the middle. That will give him a nice reinforcement option, but I don't think he's actually going to get there in time to save this factory. By the time he's finished those and started to build units, he's got one striker that was thinking about making a move over there, but I think he's going to wisely stop outside of this bottom corner, and that's really bad news for June, despite the fact he's got all that reclaim in the middle. He hasn't managed to secure either of the two corners. He's actually holding on to the middle quite nicely with his ACU for the moment. But we'll take a look at how much mass he actually gleaned from that early push to the middle. 3,743 mass on the reclaim. He's got against nil from Highlander. Hasn't sent a single unit on reclaim duty yet, and that's something you see every now and again from these lower order games. The average Joes not putting quite so much emphasis on the reclaim. It is, of course, very important, but it's only as important as your opponent makes it. It's not always essential at this level. That factory did go down for June. Highlander conquering that bottom sector. Needs to get some engineers down here to secure it. He has got one up here on the upper little mound section of that. We've got a little bit of a run by as well from Highlander, but there's far too many strikers in the area for June, so he's going to be able to deal with that with no problem whatsoever. 3 of these 4 factories are now in full flow, producing units as best they can. I wonder if we're going to see this bottom left-hand corner change hands again. I'm not so certain we are. Looks like Highlander still has the advantage in numbers. Just a couple of strikers left. Of course, more pouring off the conveyor belt all the time. The question is, are they being reinforced? Yes, they are. So very similar placings for these factories down here and here, but there's 3 new factories gone up in the middle as well. Look at this little push that June has made with his ACU. He's been in here tearing stuff up, taken down 4 or so units in the middle there, and mechs, and a whole bunch of units on his way. You can see it's just a trail of destruction that he's left in his wake as he's carved a path up to the top of the map. He's now going to withdraw. Doesn't want to lose too many HP. Feels like he's damaged Highlander enough. See how they're actually doing, these 2 on factory layouts. So that's an air factory I just clicked on. Well done. So what have we got for June? So we've got 9 factories there, 7 of which are in production for June. Highlander, conversely, has 10, 3 of which are inactive. So 7 apiece active and producing. So all things relatively square for the moment. And June making a push now, looking to get these mexes back. A little bit of a run-by happening at the same time from Highlander coming in around the back of that group of units. They're going to go a chasing, but it'd be best to just hold there, as it looks like they are about to cut off any reinforcements. But this little forward group of units going to have some success, I think, against Highlander. Mex goes down. Could do with engaging these factories a little bit. We've got a bomber coming in as well for June. Probably wants to grab those engineers if he can. Makes a good deal of sense. Meanwhile, up here, Highlander chilling. He's on an upgrade right hand, so it looks like it's going to be the gun upgrade, if memory serves. We'll take a look at what it is. That's the left arm. Yep, so it's going to be, I imagine, the amplifier on that gun. Would make sense to me. But does manage to grab that back. Of course, he's not getting any benefit from it at the moment, and unfortunately, of course, this is an older game. You can see we haven't got the live stats, but we can take a look the old-fashioned way. It's tough to see. June is bottlenecking power hard. I wonder if that means he's on an upgrade somewhere, looking to start producing some T2 units, or he's just producing so much T1 it's taking its toll. It's pretty difficult to say, but another little insurrection happening here from Highlander, trying to punch his way clear of these units. There's a lot of units in the middle of the map now for June, forcing these strikers into single file, which is never particularly the way you want to engage anything in any game generally. And they're going to go pop one after another, and quite a lot of mass now to be reclaimed on the bottom section of this map. Going to lose a factory here from Highlander. Nice little attack from June. That's on 44 hit points. Oh my god, someone sneeze on it or something. Kill that factory. Kill it with fire immediately. You cannot allow that sacrilegious. You cannot allow that to survive. Luckiest factory ever. There's some controller in the top of that. You can't believe his luck. Meanwhile, in the middle, Highlander and June have been duking it out. Highlander's down to around 5,600 HP, and June is on around 6,800 HP. Looking like he's lower down the scale, but Highlander coming in now, overcharging as best he can. In fact, is he overcharging, or is that just his gun? He can't be overcharging. Highlander has not built energy storage as yet, and he's actually down to 1,700 HP, I should say. He needs to back out. Just 11 minutes gone. That would be a very early end to this game. Don't want to see that just yet. This thing's getting interesting. swat a few things as best he can and try and stay in this. But now June looking very low indeed. He's on around 2,000 HP or so. We've got bombers coming in from Highlander. It's a nasty state of affairs. We've got a few interceptors that should be brought in from June. He's being a little bit slow off the mark. He's getting a little bit much for him. 2,200 HP though, I don't blame him. That's hairy business indeed. Still those bombers allowed to roam over the top. A nice bit of micro could have been employed there. He hangs a right, but too late after he's eaten the bombs in the face. Needs to get away or deal with it. Oh my god, dispatch those interceptors. There we go, in they come. 3 bombers now harassing that ACU. He's on around 1,800. Highlander still looking a little bit peaky. He's on around 3,600. And defending interceptors coming out to shield those bombers a little bit to try and allow them to finish June off, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to manage it. 1,100 HP. He's not gaining a great deal. He's not really getting critical either. And now there's a whole bunch of build capacity on a reclaim job. Oh, it's like a massacre. Genocidal engineer killing spree. So many of them going down. It's really quite unpleasant. Feel a little bit dirty, like when you stumble across some nasty video on the internet. Very nasty indeed. You know you weren't meant to watch it, but you can't tear your eyes away. Anyway, the retribution is had. That band of strikers go down. Very nice indeed. Back up to 3,300 HP. Nice rank of veterancy in there. Will leave June breathing a little bit steadier for now. Cheeky little mechs down here for Highlander still in his possession, despite the fact June has grabbed this back. Probably be able to see if we can actually get a reasonable look at eco now. 45 mass income per tick for June. Highlanders on 39, but look how much mass he's wasting. He's floating full bar, and that is all going to waste. We've got T2 Air for Highlander. He's producing Stingers in his base, and no tech on the field as yet, I don't think, for June, who's still solely on T1, so we could get a bit of a shock as this game moves on. We'll just have to see. Highlander still moving away from large bodies of T1. The map is relatively cut in half, although there's a large attack happening once again on the bottom left as Highlander moves in, trying to reclaim it once again for his faction's cause. I should say his colours cause, both of them being UEF. So the two generals have had a very bad argument. This is how they settle things. It's a nice way when you think it's all robots, no one's going to get killed. It's all good. But hydrocarbon down. Does that hurt June is the question. No, it doesn't. He's got enough to cover him. Still 3 factories in the area. A few Lobos in place are helping to take those down. But finally we're seeing the Stingers in play. But there's a lot of archers out on the field, and that doesn't get much work done at all. More factories being queued up in the middle for June, and Highlander still on the retreat. He's getting pursued by strikers. Finally though, he thins out enough of them to be able to advance once again. June moving over to cover the right hand side, but he needs to be careful. He's only on around 3,000 HP as opposed to Highlander that's sitting pretty on 5,200. Nice little push from Highlander into the middle, and most of a large portion of these units are actually archers, so it's probably not far off even in the middle. It would seem that Highlanders' forces are getting rather creamed in there, so it probably wasn't even after all. A few more Lobos might have done the trick there for him, since a lot of June's units were clumped up on one another. But June once again in control of the bottom left corner. He needs to grab that mechs and that hydro, but he's working on it. Large body of troops moving forward up the left-hand side now, closing in on these groups of 4 factories, coupled with an attack moving in on the middle. Highlander, by contrast, over on the right-hand side, very far forward indeed. June still on 3,000 HP, not looking too good. We've got a Stinger now coming in to try and thin out some of these units, but a wave of Inties comes in from June and swats it out of the sky. And I think these factories are doomed, and this could spell the end right here and now for Highlander. At 17 minutes gone, he's going to lose this manufacturing base. A nice bombing run there from a couple of bombers, but so many archers in play, they're not going to get a second pass. It's not going to cause any catastrophic damage to that unit. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Highlander is swatting all he can. He's up to 118 kills. Dude sitting on around 48, so he feels like this is his only real way to stay in this. There's certainly a lot more spam on the map right now for June. We're starting to see Janus in the air as well for Highlander. Some of that fighter bomber business on. Through he comes through the middle. Still quite a decent bunch of archers in there. Hopefully take that Janus out of the sky as this body of troops move forwards to the next most vulnerable manufacturing facility, which is the line of troops, or line of factory, sorry, in the middle. But so much more spam on the ground, it looks like, at least when you're watching it, for June. Naturally adapted to the desert as he is. Popping all those tanks as they come on through. Still not seeing any tech on the ground for him. I tell a lie, we've got a T2 factory over here and some Mongoose in play already. Will allow him to do all kinds of dirty things to Highlander, who's actually looking pretty damn healthy. 154 kills, 11,000, probably soon to be 12,000 hit points. Nice little run by happening through the top of June's starting location. Of course, this map, more than any other, seems to punish you a lot less for losing your starting base because you tend to fan out. Although there's a lot of T1 P-gens in there, which would really hurt June, I think, if he lost them all. Nice feint on the left-hand side from Highlander, trying to grab back this proportion of the map if he can, as we just passed the 20-minute mark in this game. Large groups of Mongoose in the middle, looks like 5 or so, going to be able to range all that clump of units there in the middle. Now, these 4 factories are once again in jeopardy. This bomber's still going to work for Highlander. He's trying to get something done in the air, but there's too many interceptors flying around for June. It's not going to work for him. A few units on the run by in there for Highlander, getting into that bottom left corner. Although it's kind of 50-50-ish, it really does feel like the initiative is flowing with June right now. As the engineers come forward, going to try and spam up some triads. There's a whole bunch of inties landed on the floor here. This could go badly. They take off just in time. As soon as that triad's finished, another one goes down, or gets placed, I should say, but won't get finished. Too many Lobos in there. You've also got... is that a Janus? Was that a little bit of friendly fire? I don't think we've got T2 in the air yet for June. Yes, we do. So he's made the transition to T2 air as well. So Janus coming in over the top. So that's the end of that triad, or both of those triads. Over on the left-hand side, still very open and dangerous. There's one or a couple of T1 PD in place in the main base for Highlander, but we've got some TAC missile launchers out in the middle. Looks like he's going after key things. June is here in the middle on an upgrade, and if he could snipe the commander, it could be all over. Question is, does he have a bearing on the location of the commander? There's no intel really whatsoever, so there's not much chance of that unless he gets a lucky flyby with an interceptor. But certainly vulnerable mass, vulnerable factories he could be taking out with those launchers. But as every minute that goes by, it seems that Highlander seems to control less and less of the map. So many units on the map for June. Cheeky little striker sitting in the middle of the base there. Needs to get some Lobos on the case to outrange these T1PD, but there's a couple of triads in there as well, so it's causing problems for June making it in that southern entrance there. Meanwhile, though, on the right-hand side, apart from these 2 T1 PDs, there's virtually nothing. Mongoose coming in with a rocket volley. He moves forwards, should be able to finish it off. There it goes, one down. Soon the second one to follow. Once that's down, it's 4 mass points he's going to be deprived of. Plus a T1 PG and a radar. And sitting in the middle, still swatting things away. 224 kills he's got on that ACU now. You've got to think, if it wasn't for that ACU, this game probably would have been over some time ago. But no, he's still in it, at least for the moment. Just to find some way of getting in this. If he could have sniped the commander, that would have been ideal. And it's the shield upgrade. He's got another upgrade coming as well. So June looking all the more beefy as time goes on. Look at that. 14,400, but 24,000 HP on that shield. So he's just turning into a very beastly looking comm. We've got a lot of interceptors in the air as well for June, so no chance of Highlander gaining any ground in the air, at least not for the foreseeable future. Attack missiles still coming out for Highlander, but now we've got a buzz kill in the middle. Definitely is killing his buzz. He's not going to get anything done there. It looks like it's flying over a similar direction. Couple of shots with the buzzkill takes that missile down. No joy or love, but look at this, a large two-pronged attack from both sides. June's got a lot of mongoose in there as well. I'd like to see some pillars in the mix. Gonna kill the majority of that T1, but I think these factories are finally doomed. Lobo's in the mix, finishing off the factories at range. Now it looks as though Highlander's going to be pinned in his base. It shows you ranking isn't everything. 400 or so, or 350 gap in their ratings, but not meaning anything right now. And now Highlander looking very cornered indeed. So many strikers on the field, just coring down. What an overcharge though. Looked like at least 7 or so strikers going down there. You got rockets coming in from all places, bumps into his own units, doesn't want to be doing that. Nice overcharge going over the top, another clump of units down. Still into the yellow, but only just 5,000 hit points left on that commander as he retreats back towards his base. 3,500, stops a little bit to try and avoid some fire, but surely this is all over. 2,500 still swatting huge clumps of units with that overcharge. 800, 700, 600, down he goes. Booyakasha. June takes that game at a snifter under 27 minutes. Very nicely played indeed. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. That's all from me today. As always, more to come in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. I shall see you tomorrow. In the meantime, this is Guile signing out.